Hello, welcome to Constitution Monday with Monday. Article 7 is the final article of the Constitution, but it is far from a mere formality. It establishes how the Constitution would take legal effect and, more importantly, where its authority truly comes from, the people of the states. From a constitutionalist perspective, Article 7 confirms that the Constitution was not imposed by force or decree. Instead, it was adopted through consent, federalism, and lawful ratification, principles essential to any legitimate constitutional republic. Text of Article 7. The ratification of the conventions of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution between the states so ratifying the same. Though only one sentence, Article 7 carries profound constitutional meaning. What Article 7 does? Article 7 establishes 3 critical principles. How the Constitution would be ratified. How many states were required for it to take effect. That the Constitution binds only the states that consented to it. This article bridges the transition from the Articles of Confederation to the new constitutional system. Ratification by state conventions. Why conventions were used. Rather than allowing state legislatures to ratify the Constitution, the founders required ratification through special state conventions. This choice was intentional. Legislatures might resist changes that reduce their own power. Conventions more directly represented the will of the people. It reinforced the idea that sovereignty ultimately resides with the people. From a constitutionalist standpoint, this reinforces popular sovereignty without collapsing into direct democracy. Why 9 states were required? Under the Articles of Confederation, unanimous consent was required for amendments, a standard that had proven unworkable. Article 7 lowered the threshold. 9 out of 13 states were sufficient. This prevented a small minority from blocking reform. At the same time, it required broad regional consensus. This balance reflected prudence rather than impatience. Consent-based federalism? Article 7 makes clear that the Constitution applies only to states that ratified it. Non-ratifying states were not immediately bound. The Union formed through voluntary agreement. This confirms that the federal government derives its authority from delegated powers, not coercion. Importance to a constitutional republic. 1. Legitimacy through consent. A constitutional republic depends on legitimacy rooted in consent. Article 7 ensures the Constitution was accepted, not imposed. Authority flows upward from the people. Government power rests on agreement, not force. This consent-based foundation is essential to lawful self-government. 2. Federalism preserved at the founding. Article 7 affirms that states are distinct political entities. The federal system is voluntary and cooperative. National authority exists because states delegated specific powers. This structure protects liberty by dividing authority. 3. The rule of law over revolution. Rather than overthrowing the existing system, the founders used legal conventions, established a clear ratification process, ensured continuity of lawful government. Article 7 demonstrates that constitutional reform can occur without chaos. A constitutionalist perspective on Article 7. From a constitutionalist viewpoint, Article 7 reminds us that the Constitution is a compact, not a decree. Power must always be grounded in lawful consent. The legitimacy of government depends on adherence to constitutional processes. It rejects the notion that outcomes alone justify authority. Why Article 7 still matters today. Though ratification occurred over 2 centuries ago, Article 7 continues to matter because it underscores the voluntary nature of the Union, reinforces the sovereignty of the people and the states, serves as a reminder that constitutional authority has limits. Any attempt to bypass constitutional processes undermines the very legitimacy Article 7 established. Conclusion: the Constitution's lawful birth. Article 7 marks the Constitution's transition from proposal to governing law. It confirms that The Constitution rests on consent. Federal authority is delegated, not assumed. The Republic began with agreement, not compulsion. In a constitutional republic, how power begins matters just as much as how it is exercised. Article VII ensures that the American system of government began the right way, through lawful ratification, federal balance, and the will of the people. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay informed, stay free.